Burke asks, can you please talk more about the breakthrough? Honestly, there's really no one thing. Like
It was
when I say,
getting your what Pace and Cody like to refer to as the assembly line, the
yeah,
right? It's
if I
getting
were to break
that
it down,
well-oiled machine together when
yeah,
things just click. That's the breakthrough.
we spent
Achieving
a, yeah,
achieving a state of performance that just works.
right. We spent a lot of time educating our team and not making money. And what I mean by that is learning how to underwrite deals. So number one, you've got to have either you or team that is consistent with outreach. Number two, you have to know how to underwrite these deals, right? Like for an example, you got to know how to comp, right? You have to know how much what it's going to cost per square foot to do renovation, a simple renovation, what a roof and a foundation might cost as well, what closing costs are, right? All of those numbers associated with what your offer needs to be for it to be a deal for a buyer. And then you also need to attribute your assignment fee to it. So you need to know underwriting. You need to know that well enough to be able to translate that into a conversation.
Pumping.
And so like with some of these agents, they'll be like, oh, this is a great investment opportunity. I'm like, oh, this is an investment opportunity. Okay, great. Is your seller willing to work with an investor? And they go, yeah, well, what do you mean? Okay, well, you have this price at 450. ARV is at 500. I need to spend 50K just to get it resale ready. How am I going to make money on this? Right? You got to be able to know your numbers well enough to have that conversation and still maintain rapport with the person that you're negotiating with. Right? All of those things, plus knowing how the transactions actually work, knowing how the paperwork works, the transaction actually works, escrow, being able to speak to escrow officers, being able to talk about an assignment with agents. If I were to just break it down in a handful of things, those are the handful of things: a team, outreach, underwriting, negotiating, understanding the transaction. Once you got all of those 5 things, you will break through.
Well,
So,
it also took getting a team that worked, Patrick. Let's face it, it took a while for the team members to fall into place. And that's
yep,
to be expected when you're a startup.
yep, absolutely.
So you've got a really solid team working now, and that really helps. And everybody's trained, and people aren't turning over like crazy. They're not dropping out anymore. And that's
Recently,
part of it.
right? No, 100%.